Greetings. We're there with you. Things and Times Cultural Expression. Yes, and we are there with some reflection. But we have to say, we are change up the thing this evening because for me, it's, as a Muslim, it's Arafat. And Arafat is Hajj. Hajj has Arafat, better way to put that. And this is this day that our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made his last sermon. And that last sermon has a big significance as to what is taking place in this earth continually. And that significance is all about racism. And maybe the Muslim them shy from it because it asks a lot of questions and it presents images that were not there, but behaviors that was. Now I'm going to say that again, images that wasn't there. Images that wasn't in Africa, images that wasn't among people of color. But an attitude was there. Okay. Which means that I could be one of the top people anywhere across Persia as a black man, as an African. You see? Doesn't mean that I was respected. But was it that they were racist? Simple things. So we are go somewhere. And my Muslim brethren, don't just go and say haram, astaghfirullah. You understand? Please.
Let the naked be clothed.
Listen. Listen.
Let the hungry be fed, and the aged be protected.
Listen.
Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us. 'Cause with all the things
Yes. So we come back again because I know I say enough of my brethren, them in Al-Islam, they're going to behave a certain way. But anyway, what we are saying is this, and it's important when we are going back as a 19th century and 21st century people. Even myself in my family, and a great deal of us, you know, when I talk 2 generations just gone, I tell you, we never see this white and black thing. We never see nobody's white. But we know see that we were servants. We now see that there was a set of people that was the dominance. We knew that. We also felt it. And we was also told to be very careful of them, especially their children. Don't play with them. Because the simplest thing, them scream, we are in trouble. You are in trouble, and the family is in trouble. I grew up in between 3 plantations, not 1, 3, at one stage of my life. Do you understand? So nobody can come tell me, say, may I read somebody thing, and I'm saying something that belongs to somebody, and that maybe I'm stuck in the 16th century. Stop that rarity. Stop it, man. You understand? Organize your family. May I talk to one brother? Organize your family and organize yourself before you can come and drop commentary on me. I welcome pessimism, but may not welcome stupidity. I'm telling you. You understand? So here what me I say now about this Caucasian dominance. They see themselves like that because they control all the Caribbean and all the South America and these places. We come among them to our parents. We come among them to our families that came here and through immigration to help rebuild the infrastructure of this country. We never come here under no Windrush. We come here under immigration to help rebuild and occupy positions of employment to rebuild this country after the Second World War. There's a big distinction between that and the years of the Windrush generation or Windrush peoples them coming to England. And hear that word, they're coming to England, you know. They started themselves wanting to come to England. The first set did not do that. They were chosen, they were selected to come to the alleged mother country and bring their talents, their bodies, their health, their strength, and their potential. Not just capability, their true potential, or potentials. They weren't scavengers, or we were not scavengers. And we were not left alone. We were selected based on our quality of integrity and capability and professionalism. That's how far up the ladder of slavery we came. And still we're not given freedom. So we came here through immigration. I stress that again, not through no Windrush generation, people who say them are go to England or they want to come to England. So we worked to help reestablish this country after their conflict with each other across Europe. What does the world call that? Is that prejudice, discrimination? Is that anti-Semitic? What did the world call that? Them just say world war. Why you hiding your ill health? Okay, so this is what happened. And we landed here. And we worked in this place here that them call health service that wasn't yet established. We worked in this thing called plumbing, railway, the whole iron industry, the whole iron, the industrial revolution. The point I'm making is no British man can discredit the African. And anyone who does that is because someone has told them lies. Has told them lies. But it seems in your pigmentation, your makeup, you dislike Africans. And you slowly dislike that because of your ignorant scientists, alleged scientists. And then the teaching that those same alleged scientists put there. And it was taught to you all. And you all didn't remonstrate and said that this is not good, this is not right. You did it. And those among you who we are seeing across the world today that saw what happened to George Floyd, and their hearts and their soul and their conscience and their humanity is still being shown today, because they're the ones that are protesting very, very diligently in the United States. And a lot of slander and slurs have been thrown at them because they're demonstrating and protesting for the rights of African people. Let it be understood, you know. And they want constitutional amendments. And they want equality, justice, and right, and human dignity, Malika Shabazz again, for African peoples. Not one set, for all of them, all of us. And that has a great deal of ramification across the Caucasian world. I don't see you all stopping and say, hold up. I don't hear the United Nations calling all nations to come. I don't hear the European Unions. You see, hey, I'm going to get shoulder to shoulder to destroy countries that have oil and want to control the oil. And then you share the oil. But then you have one of you or two of you who decide that you will put your own regime because you got control. But you will share the bounty. And that's what you all been doing since Roman time. And why did I mention Rome now? Emperor Nero. Why did I mention Rome? Black people should try and find out, when did Rome come into existence? And when Rome come into existence, where were they? Because everything else, their own history show you what's happening, and that's the biblical people, what's happening on the continent of Africa. So when did these Europeans, when did these Caucasians, them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, when did all these Europeans, them, flood Africa? Oh, come on, man. You don't need to have a CSC or GCSE or A-level or a degree in geography. You just have to have sense. And not racial sense. And why is you dealing with that? Just ask yourself now, out of everybody, that you don't even see Paul, you know, and Paul is the ringleader of the New Testament. But the key to the New Testament, Christ, them decide to give a picture, an image, a portrait. Why did they find that necessary? Rome. Not even Rome. The Europeans. And those people who getting vexed with me, you know, these people had created something called paganism. Now, when I talk about the thoughts and perceptions of peoples, even though that's where it came from, how it originated. But they also have a book. They have a manual. They have literature. Why don't some of those same historians look for that? Or look for those documentations? But I don't think we need to. But those who contest what I may be saying, you should. Even the atheists of the 20th century, 19th and 20th century, has written something to justify themselves. And their position is made well clear throughout centuries. But they have formulated some literature that states very clearly why they are atheists. Yes, they have. Just like you have Mormons, just like you have Protestants that broke away from the main. So, Africans, where's yours? And who taught you to denounce Islam? Who taught you to denounce Al-Islam? And who taught you to denounce that which was in Abyssinia and Yemen? Where did the Queen of Sheba come from? Where did Solomon and David come from? Where was the Nile? Where is the Nile? Where is Judah? Where did they come from? Where did they live? Where is Egypt? Has it changed? Did it jump and gone somewhere? I'm telling you, we the children of the slaves, there's some of us that made our own conscience and our principles of life based on what we saw from our foreparents, especially our grandparents. We're not afraid. But there's another lot. There's another lot that is weak, mentally weak. And the reason they're weak is because they see something greater than themselves in another set of people. That's the reason. And they worship because of the theological education, they worship these people. And well, they know that's what's happening to them. But we who undertake the worshiping of these people, we don't know what's happening to us. That psychological damage, we don't know. And the only people that can free us from that is ourselves, because the opposition is not going to attempt to do that. Why should they? And that's why it's difficult for us to see ourselves as one people. That's why it's so difficult. That's my theory. That's why it's so difficult. Listen.
You say that all whites are racist. Can you expound on that, please?
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle. Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made all, everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority. The myth of race has to be maintained at all costs in this country. Because if white people have to give up the color of their skin as being something that makes them perfect, what do they have left? If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, it will totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom. It will have to. Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living. But we celebrate that every October. It's a lie. We need to get over, we need to stop telling the myths and start telling the truth.
So when you tell people that they're racist, and it must have some kind of effect, because most people will say, I'm not racist.
I'm not a racist. Why, some of my best friends are black.
Right.
Yeah, and then you say, name one. Or this one, I don't see color. And when some woman says to me, I don't see color, I say, I knew that. If you saw color, you wouldn't dye your hair that way. Or I say, if you saw color, you wouldn't wear that shirt with those pants. I believe that you don't see color. It's an attempt to deny skin color. And it's an attempt to deny what's wrong with seeing the color of my skin. Is it all right for you to see me kind of pink? That's okay for me. I don't mind. And I suspect that you don't mind being seen the color you are. You have a right to be what you are. And until people in this country and people in this world get it into their heads that the first modern human beings that evolved on this earth were black women. They evolved in sub-Saharan Africa about 280,000 years ago, and every human being on the face of the earth today has the memory of those black women's genetic structure in their genes. Now, we don't want to admit that, but that's the way it is. And as people moved farther and farther from the equator, their bodies produced less and less melanin, so their hair, their skin, and their eyes got lighter. As they moved into the east, they ate a lot of fish and a lot of vegetables, so their skin took on a different tone. I found that out when I was raising little kids. My husband worked in a supermarket. He was the head of the produce department. And they had lots of oranges that they couldn't sell. He'd bring them home, and I was feeding my kids orange juice like you never saw in your life. They began to have an orange cast to their skin. I thought they had a liver problem. So I took him to the doctor, and she said, what are you feeding these kids? I said, well, lots of orange juice. She said, stop it if you want them to stop being orange. Now, if you think that skin color isn't anything other than the body's natural reaction to the natural environment, get over it.
So if all white people are racist, according to you, can they be reprogrammed?
Of course they can. Of course they can. Of
How?
course they can be. It's called education. I'm an educator. The word educator comes from the root duc dus, which means lead, the prefix e, which means out, the suffix ate, which means the act of, and the suffix or, which means one who does. An educator is one who is engaged in the act of leading people out of ignorance.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yes. Now that's Jane Ellington, right? That's a human being. Happened to be a Caucasian, but that's Jane Ellington. Listen.
How many people think they understand what racism is? Show of hands. Come on, you think you know. I'm not suggesting I know. I just have a couple of definitions that kind of came to me as I thought about. How many people think there are white racists? That there are white racists out there? How many think there are black racists out there? Okay. Now, this is an interesting thing because this becomes important as we begin to define concepts. Now, I do that. I usually define concepts all the way. But one of the things that I do is I try to help people get a picture of what I mean by racism. So tell me how it is. I'm going to first category is white racism, then we'll deal with black racism. So white racism. Tell me the ways in which white racism adversely impacts the lives of black people. Just what are the ways that white racism can adversely impact the lives of black people as a group? What are some of those ways? I'm sorry? Power, but how is that defined specifically? Education, okay. I'm sorry? Economically, employment. What else? Housing, what else? Policing. Why are we here today? Healthcare, okay. Now, we could actually kind of grow that list. Now we're going to move over to black racism. Tell me the ways in which black racism adversely impacts the lives of white people as an entire group. Thank you. The reason why you become silent, there's one that always comes up, and that's fear. White people are afraid of black people. They are afraid of us. And it's a very interesting thing because black people know it. We know white people are afraid, but you have to start getting into the psychology. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid? But it's an interesting dynamic. Now, also you see the difference in what racism is, do you not? Racism implies you have not just prejudice, but the power to do something with that prejudice. Now, I don't like you, not only that, but I'm going to control whether you can get, I may say I hate you. I hate white people. I hate them. It's not going to change you getting that, loan when you go to the bank. I can hate you all the way to the bank. Not going to change. Do you see the difference? That whereas white racism says, not only do I not like you, but I'm going to change the impact of where you can live. I'm going to determine with that racism where your powers are. You following me? And I'm talking about as a group, not an individual, because people said, I remember when my uncle didn't. I'm not talking about your uncle. I'm talking about the whole group. I'm not talking about an incident. That's a difference. But white people are afraid. So let's get into how this fear impacts criminal justice. Because if white people in this room are afraid of black people, guess who else is afraid of black people? Only they have guns. So now let's look at what he said. Simply put, white cops are afraid of black men. We don't talk about it. We pretend it doesn't exist. We claim color blindness. We say white officers treat black men the same way they treat white men, but that's a lie. And here's a big one. In fact, the bigger, the darker the black man, the greater the fear. Any big black men in here? You got a big old bullseye on you, even if you got the suit on. And it's the truth, because statistics bear it out. The African community knows this. Hell, most whites know it. Yet, even though it's essential, if not the defining ingredient in the makeup of police racism, white cops won't admit it to themselves or to others. He goes on to talk about actually learning it in the academy. Norm Stamper, he told on everybody. He had folks indicted. He now lives in a cabin on a mountain somewhere in the San Juan Islands. That's where he lives. Nobody knows where he lives because he knows they're coming after him, and they have. This is a statement from the book also. Race and class discrimination are all too real in every phase of the criminal justice system, from arrest to sentencing. Impoverished black defendants, and this is going to sound familiar to you, are far more likely to wind up on death row than richer middle-class whites, or the 3,000, and of the 3,700 inmates now awaiting execution nationwide, 43% are African American. Black defendants are not accorded the same due process rights as whites. Their cases are not given the same scrutiny and consideration afforded to white defendants. Not now, not ever, not in this country. This is what the man said. It was dismal. But he doesn't believe it's possible in the current system. So what we have to realize is we need to be realistic about that. So what I have to do is teach my sons how to navigate this, do I not? Doesn't matter what I think and, oh, baby, you know, we are the world. No, this is real. You do have a bullseye on you. When you're in the elevator with the only white woman there, and you're the big black man, she's clutching her purse and she's worried. That's a reality. And if you startle her too much, it used to mean you get lynched. Matter of fact, I think she could scream rape now and you'd get taken down.
That's the situation. So we started off quite a while ago saying that we're depicted as savages and we're made to be afraid. And I flipped the switch and said, yeah, that's true. But the people them who call us savages, they're afraid of us. But we don't know why. And what is it that we have done? What control, what power, what legislation, what anything do we have that would make them feel or have these notions of fear? But you know, something that's very strange as well, especially here in England. When a charge is leveled and it says that it's a racist situation, an opposition comes out, and one of the first things that them say is that the gays need rights, the feminists need rights. So what was discussed, what was being discussed in relation to the ugliness called racism is now being distracted by a gay lobby and a feminist lobby. Rights for women and rights for the gays. And then if we cut across that reasoning, then they want to call us homophobic. And if we continue to step across that, they will make it known very clearly and loudly about the rights. And we are saying that the section 60 or whatever section it is, and the treatment that's being dished out by the law enforcement, police officers on us and our children is not just abuse. It's racist abuse. No, we're not heard. And that poor sister, our brethren, that was caught on BBC, our Channel 5, Channel 4, our ITV, will not be interviewed again. Because they didn't accept to be railroaded from the issue at, the issue at hand. Them supposed to show the likeness and the similarities between a feminist and the other lobbies, when they all have their particular place, you know. But when the Ashkenazis, the alleged Jewish communities, scream out racism, everything stops. They even ask for employment notification, meaning that whatever employment that person or persons have, they must be dismissed. And when these things doesn't happen, or they feel that there's a possibility that that would not be entertained, here comes the rabbis. Here comes political leverage. Here comes media splashing. We as black African people, we don't have that power. We don't have the institution, but we don't have that power. We don't wield that power. And we don't get that form of respect by any of the parties. What we get is cosmetic. You know, you can put on your makeup, and it depends on the level, the intensity. Yeah, the level of makeup you put on. You can put it on very light. Doesn't really show up anything, but you know that you're wearing it. I don't put any on. What am I saying? Nothing happens for us. They massage me sometime, and they tell the tribunal to ask us if we're leveling a racial charge. And we hope that you will utilize taxpayers' money rightly, because you need to prove it. Hey, this is England I'm talking in. This is not Shropshire. This is not Glamorgan. This is not Anglia. This is England. Particularly where? Birmingham, Nottingham, Manchester, Leicester, London. Oh, Bradford. Mustn't forget them here already. The other day, Twitter or whatever said that one artist said something or write something. There's been immediate call for some action to be leveled against this individual. And then to top it off, immediately a request was made for the police to investigate, throw in high frighteners. We don't get that type of leverage. Because how we're going to get somebody now, we're going to tell who? Diane Abbott, to ask the Metropolitan Investigational Body to investigate their own fellow officers for the malpractices that they inflict on black people. For them to investigate themselves. Just like when the coroner give their reports in the death of any of us, it's obvious that we either have committed suicide or we suffocated by something thing that we are trying to prohibit them from finding. Or we have just, no matter how young we are, we just died of natural causes, or fixation, or a cardiac arrest, or just trauma. But it has nothing to do with the arrest and the maltreatment. This is what happens to black people here in England. So could you all imagine if these people here, with the lobby that was taking place and still is taking place, for the officers them to be armed outside of the security services that has special arraignments and so forth, which no one says no to. That's natural. It shouldn't have to be, but as we evolve, there are forces out there that's evolved too. Highly criminal elements. So it'd be stupid of us to turn around and say, well, boy, the police shouldn't be matching how mankind is evolving and the disgusting elements that's out there in that have criminal minds, and they don't have no fear of executing their criminal minds. That'd be stupid. But there's a force of people that want the police to be generally armed. Could you imagine if that happened here? Black people would be, we African people, black people, we be the target. And it be constantly justified. Because what power of authority do we actually have? What, the voice? Which voice? What is it saying? What would it say? Another one. Bite the dust. So until we get together and develop trust and develop an infrastructure for ourselves whilst we're here, our condition and circumstances, politically or otherwise, will not change. Won't change. Keep our eyes on what's happening in the US. And now so that we experience these things here. Difference is we're not being shot as yet. We are killed, but not wholesale, like our brothers and sisters over this. And know that God Almighty have shown up all that just took place and all that is taking place, because they saw human beings saw what happened. And many of us have gone back to our homes because we've been conditioned like that. You know, we can come out for a couple days and then the police services or someone tell the family to tell us that we're not helping the situation, so we should return to our homes. Because they don't want to confront us. They don't want to confront us. They don't want to deal with the situation at hand. They know that time is a healer. What does it do? It relaxes a situation, any situation. So how you felt within the hour, the 2 or 3 hours, as time moves on to a day and 2 and 3 and a week and so forth, it becomes less and less and less important. Not that the person is going to be resurrected, but the hurt, the trauma. They know that. Who's them? People who study the art of psychology. The system. But where are we in the scheme of things? Do we not understand that? And then when you but think of America, you know, when them decide for make you go to court, now you have to have money. Because when the district attorneys and everybody start getting involved, and the mayors and everybody, them start wield the power that they know we do not have. And that same thing is going to happen here. Because we don't test the courts. We don't test the courts. So we don't know how skillful, how knowledgeable, how capable our barristers, our lawyers, our legal trained individuals are. It's all right they go down to the magistrate court for someone that done some speeding or didn't have this or something, some little petty thing, or a divorce case or some housing. Yeah, that's important too, man. But you see my civil rights? You see our human rights? You see our dignity? You see this racism? You see all these murders in custody, these deaths in custody? That's the level. That's the level, man. Have we examined without BBC the Lawrence trial? Have we examined what we weren't able to do? Did we understand what that family had to go through? Do you understand the level of separation, the hurt that these things cause to your own emotion and relationships, and the constraints that happens financially? And we ain't got that power. So it's worthy to really investigate. Sit down. We should have been doing that from the beginning of the day, God damn it, and really look at this thing. But we look at it through Caucasian man, them eyes are women, them eyes. Like we not have no eye with self. Like we not traumatized and we don't have emotion. The same thing happened with the New Cross disaster, massacre disaster, the fire. The biggest demonstration, yes, but several leverages came out of the young socialists and everybody. They all got their come-ups. They all got recognized, many groups. But what did we do? Yeah, it had mileage, but what did we do? What were we able to accomplish? What examination? What did we do? So again, I'm asking, did Trevor Phillips just leave race relation, or did race relation collapse? And naturally, him would have forgot. So what is the report on that? Did any lobby groups take over race relation? And it would appear that we have assimilated into British society, but we are still abused. We're the number one target for any section that's awarded to the police. So we're the criminals. when it comes to hurdling A-class drugs, and are we? So why are we the criminals? I mean, we just have a little pot to piss in. So how is it that we're so big in a criminality? Because we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves. And we react to other people's agendas. We need to get into this thing what I'm calling trust, man. Develop trust among ourselves. So we can start then developing institutions that's about us. And let the finance, let the economics, let that come after. But once we start run with the finance, we're going to run into troubles. And that trouble is going to cause disharmony. And that disharmony is called disunification, no form of unification. And intolerant behaviors. So without trust, you can't do nothing, you know. Anyone out there who understand what I'm saying now, without trust, you can't do anything. Anybody who have money, and them use these institutions that look after money, them have a level of trust of those institutions called banks, money savers, etc., etc. You know. Even the people them who send money with Western Union and all them people there now, them is a trust you have to have, you know. Them things pop up the other day and people run quick and carry them money, give them for send home to them family quick. They want them guarantee you get it there within all 2 hour, 3 hour, quick as a phone call and all these type of things. But it's a level of trust. And the people then put a person like me in the same place. And it's not ownership by me, you know. I'm only the image. But we trust it. Oh, we cannot trust ourselves. Pastors, if we develop that, I have a strong feeling we will turn the tide of all these degrading, filthy, erroneous experiences that we continue to experience. Because when we say no, we will mean no. And when we say no more, we will mean no more. We're not dumb. Let that be understood and let that be seen. And we're good to go, but we're afraid. Miss Ellington said that her people is afraid of black people, African people. That's her acknowledgement. But we are afraid of ourselves. And we are definitely afraid of them. So who's wheeling what type of action here? If we're afraid to act and we're afraid of them. And then we hear some of them must say that they're afraid of us. They're afraid of us becoming equal. They're afraid of us. They're afraid to compete with us. Not in a war, but intellectually as human beings. That is what needs to be debated. Why are you afraid? What have we done to you? But you only like us in the arena of plain amusement. And that's what gets a lot of us on a high. We feel, say, yeah, they're in love with me. Yeah? And they get 2 shekels and put you up on some spotlight TV, spotlight shows, half-naked woman, dress-up man that is not allowed to speak. Same just have an image. And the woman who sings and don't take off her clothes and behave a certain way, the money give her the little money and remove her from public view. And we do all these things to be important, not to ourselves, you know, to be important to other people who disapprove of us. Now tell me, Pastor, are you got any sense? Because that's what happens. And you know it. All of you, all of us know that. The West Indies come here the other day. Are them still here? And them play cricket. Them should not play no cricket. Because what? Isn't that one of their children? Ain't they going to have children? Don't they want to see a change in life? Nah, but them played. They don't realize if them decide not to play, what an impact that have internationally and morally. You see all the football people, them tell people them now, they must kneel down. When Raheem Sterling and them people they was racially abused, the people that met them know say that them cannot walk off the pitch. But now them certain things are going, them try to tell the people them because they're behind closed doors, you know. It's only the TV can show, and people who have money for pay for watch the TV show of the football. But them allow them tell them say, yeah man, right? When the anthem and whatever is playing, and I can kneel down. So why you did not allow the man them that felt so abused to walk off the pitch? Nah, when I change up the thing and frighten them. And them accept being afraid, not recognizing that them have the power because they're the performers. They're the participants, they're the players. But we're not unified. We don't trust our own judgments. And then them take holding for talk. But yet still them a shake hand with the people, them and bring the people them here. And then want to invite them to the Caribbean on a tour. What nonsense is that, man? Double standard foolishness. So our children them now, they're listening to me, listening to others, and then look upon me and say, wait, I'm not saying nothing. You all are the problem. You're not setting a standard for us. Why are you all so scared? See? So we can get our own yard fixed up. When our children and our grandchildren see us as not moral, sound, ethical, culturally human beings. Because we not represent nothing. We ain't representing anything. The sport and the performances is more important. But those people there in the US, their livelihood, them people not care about it. They're being threatened already that they're going to lose their jobs. And anybody who is owing anything in terms of housing, mortgage, and all these things, the system has mentally threatened and abused those people's livelihood. But look at them. We're going into 4 months. Look at them. So somebody want to come tell me now, you see all them people there? They're part of the system. Yes, they're part of the system. Are they working with the system? They're working against the system. Are they just there because whatever party tell them, say, listen, you make things look good for we. Stay out there. I think wholeheartedly they're there fighting against injustices. Standing, not fighting, standing against injustices. And keeping the spotlight shining on that ill treatment. That's what they're doing. They're not letting it just go away. And they understand that. So should we. Not just what's happening there, you know. We should understand that. But yeah, let Liverpool get them trophy and we shout and scream. Let this team and that team start playing and we start carrying on. We're not really understanding and respecting our ancestors and who we are. We're not doing that. We're doing other than that. Someone is saying, so what do you want us to do? Find it inside your morality. Find it inside your own conscience. Find it inside your heart. Find it inside the wisdom that we all have. Don't let it just go dormant because we can. That's what I'm saying. Don't let it go dormant because we can do that. Because that's not sense. Search our souls. But if it's because there's £30,000 and there's a possibility of a £20,000 bonus and whatever next is going to happen with the one-day matches and all these different things, then Christ is right. And never said that thing wrong. And why is it us that sells our souls? And is it us that is Judas? Isn't it strange they didn't make Judas Iscariot or whatever the name they put there to be a black man, an African? Why is it that we seem to like him? Because that's what we do. We betray ourselves. That's what we do. And the one who's kicking us in our face, we're waiting for them to tell us what to do or how to do what to do. And then we say we're brave. We'll go to war among ourselves. And we'll take the same killing machine and turn it on our own. And benefit nothing. And benefit nothing. It's very strange that artist is managed by one of the same people. That should only tell us that there's something that happened there with that relationship, and maybe he was misused. Where you think him ignorant, so? His career is managed by an Askanaki. And he's going to allege, lambaste them as in disrespecting their culture based on racial terms and put his career in jeopardy. Something set up, something misused to bring that influence of that individual down. That's me, I said that. I can't think say that him so stupid. I can say he could be hurt, but he will not demean himself and his career just like that. It's not stupid. Set up again. And why ain't no good black man or woman out there able to manage and take care of the best or some of the most influential artists of our own? See? Because we don't have no infrastructure and we don't have trust. So then why would you trust me or come to me when I've not got no good track record, proven and tested that I know what the hell I'm doing? That's where it stems from. I could have £1 million. That £1 million don't mean that we can manage it and dress up in all these costumes. That doesn't say nothing. £1 million jackass. And the same £1 million is like the 30 pieces of silver. It's better to be a wise, intelligent, moral, sounding, trustworthy person than to have the world of money. Now listen to my friend. I wish she was my friend for real. Emperor Nero.
Me come to talk to Father God. Me not stay long. Me just come to talk to him for 5 minutes. And hang up. Now, Jesus, imagine. You take my favorite female artist, Whitney Houston. Jesus, you go back again. And you take my favorite male singer, Michael Jackson. When you say heal the world. Now, Jesus, you go again. You go as far as we take my favorite boxer, Muhammad Ali. So God, Donald Trump is one of my favorite president. Where are we at, Pan?
Am I wait upon the fact that he is the president and I run the country and black people don't know what to do. And many black people vote for the man. But we vote for our sort of people, you know. But we won't vote for ourselves. Anyway, today's called Arafat. And we want to make you understand how Islam know. Not Islam know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything and he know when him create. Human beings. You understand? He know when him create. He know our psychology. He know what we strive for and what we don't strive for. That's why I think a lot of people run from the Quran. Because when them see the Quran, it's all of these do's and don'ts. And then it deals with the mannerisms of human beings. Them say, nah. And some people could get frightened because when I started reading, yeah, because it'll tell you about you. And it also tells us about previous generations that ran into errors. And they were helped to put themselves back on the right track. But them say no, they have matured. They have matured. And then it shows us how arrogant they became. But then it says, go ye through the earth and see what was there remains of them. Like today, the Europeans, them go over to what them call Jordan and look at an area them claim to be called Petra And we know said other land of the races and so forth, because Allah told us in the Quran. So you see these great kingdoms and these great things that in the Western man world, them called cathedrals, because them copy it, them try to copy as much as they possibly could. And if it wasn't, these things wasn't made and built in mountains, you know, see the British, the Europeans would have grabbed them and carried it, bring them back to them land and put them names and initials all over them. But them can't rip the mountains down. So these marvelous structures, they're there. Living testimony, so much living testimonies of the Quran. Living. Not make believe. Not fabrications, and not wanting to insert something to say, hey, look at this. No. That's what scares people. That's what scares people. I think that's what scares people. Because the truth, we're meant to be searching for. And the truth is what we're meant to be living by within ourselves as human beings. Listen.
I'll give you a story and then a final hadith of the Holy Prophet of Islam. Musa alayhi salam is in the middle of the Red Sea. And as the waves come crashing around and begin to swallow up Fir'aun and the army of Fir'aun, there comes a moment, according to our ahadith, there comes a moment when Fir'aun looks towards Musa longingly in an extent of a hand, as if to say, "Oh Musa, save me from this moment." Imagine the terror. You're about to be drowned. You've just seen your whole army be drowned. The waves are crashing around upon you. The water is going into your lungs. Fir'aun looks longingly for a moment of safety at the hand of Musa alayhi salam. Do you know what the hadith says? Musa alayhi salam turns his face away in disgust at Fir'aun. I want nothing to do with you, Fir'aun. I will not save you at this moment. The hadith says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed into the heart of Musa at that moment, "O Musa, why did you turn away in disgust from Fir'aun?" He says, "Oh Allah, this is Fir'aun. He is the one who has claimed godhood against you. He is the one who said, build this high bridge and I will come up and fight against the Lord of Musa. Now you want me to save him? Now you want me to extend a hand to him and pull him out of the water that is drowning him and Al-Fir'aun at this moment?" Listen to the response of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, "O Musa, the reason why you turned away in disgust from him was because he wasn't a creation of yours. Had you created him, you would have seen him the way I see him. And if Fir'aun had just called towards me and not you, I would have been the one to save him." Look at the difference between how we see people and how we see the world versus how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees people and the world. Even Fir'aun, if he had called out to me, I would have saved him. Our problem is that we take every other idea as our own idea other than Islam's ideas. We divide, we separate, we make him to be black, we make him to be white, and then we buy into the very supremacist model of living that was first created to put you into slavery in the first place. And then we complain later on that white slavery exists. In the last sermon of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, The Prophet stated, there is no difference between Arab and non-Arab. Arab is not superior to non-Arab. Non-Arab is not superior to Arab. Black is not superior to white. White is not superior to black, except he who has the most amount of taqwa, God consciousness in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah doesn't see black and white. The Prophet doesn't see black and white. Allah never divided you into a superior race and an inferior race. He never made one group of people to be essentially better than another people. It was only about he who has greater piety and justice within them as a soul. The more you and I buy into these ideas that race exists, the longer you and I will perpetuate the very ideas and foundations that white supremacy uses in order to be able to say that you are less than someone else. It requires us.
This is us. And I make believe is not something that someone put together and say, here, you understand? On this day, on Mount Arafat, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, over 1400 years ago, on his last ceremony, made that declaration very clear. You understand? So, for people to keep brandishing the fact that Arabs are Muslims, enslaved people. Arabs, yes. Muslims, Islam, no. And for me to say that I'm the abd of Allah, I'm the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they see that word is not the same as the word that's used by Europeans. The abd of Allah is one who submit and surrender themselves to attempt or try to live according to the laws that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is made available to mankind, human beings. So you want to call us now fundamentalists? Yes, of course. Not extremists. But what does fundamental mean? He or she who adheres to and make attempts to live or do whatever. The president, the prime minister, are they not fundamentalists of their politics and their policies? Some of them become so fundamentalist, that which we may say, but become rogues. Why? When they get the position that they're well-being wanting, it transforms them because they cite themselves to be powerful. Them have so much power. And that's one of man's frailties. He likes to dominate others. So when you select people them to be law enforcement officers and not soldiers, one has to be careful that them understand human rights and dignity of other human beings like themselves. But for some reason, no matter who they are, them see black people, African people, as some plaything, savages, less than human beings. We can exert our energy our tension, our frustration, our angers on such a people. Could you imagine? Man is having problem and he's so stressed and he takes it out on black people. So if his wife was the one denying him, but then again, if his wife turned around and said that a black man look her up and down, wow, we're in some serious troubles. Some serious troubles. So here what now? I have to go back somewhere again before we finish out because we're into this racial thing from a point where I'm saying we need some institutions, seriously.
The thing is that, as far as I'm concerned, since we met you people 500 years ago, look at us. We've given everything. You are still taking. It's true. I mean, where will the whole Western world be without Africa? Our cocoa, our timber, our gold, our diamonds, our platinum, our whatever. Everything you are is us. I am not saying it, it's a fact. And in return for all of this, what have we got? Nothing. Anti-personnel indoctrination against ourselves. If you go and cook your horrible diseases like AIDS, you say it is us. You brought us tuberculosis. We didn't have this big cough until white people came here. In exchange for Africa giving Europe 500 solid years of our people, I mean not Europe, the Western world, of our human beings to work your canes, to dig your gold, to take in gold itself, diamond, I mean, you know, fish, peanuts, palm oil, everything. In exchange for that, we have got nothing. Nothing. And you know it. Nothing. And you look upon, you know, white folks look upon us like monkeys. It is true. It's in your literature. Hey, you know, some of your best thinkers have said this about us. Have you heard of all these Germans? Have you heard? Okay. Yes. They said, Lord Burton, people like that, they said, we don't even have the brain of animals. That's what we've got from you people.
But don't you think that this is over now?
Over where? Is it over? Who said that 8 came from the green monkey? Is it over? Is it over?
Well, if this is your impression, do you think that you can ever forgive us?
It's not a question of forgiveness. I have nothing against you. My point is that you did and you are doing for your survival what is necessary. We can't blame you for that. The fact that we didn't do enough for our own survival and we are still not doing enough for our survival, that is not your problem. You know, even everybody that God has created has a sense of survival, you know, and if we don't develop it, we can't blame white people. You came here because you needed these things. You took gunpowder from the Chinese. You needed them to shoot people.
Do not be deluded that the world is full of benevolent individuals and institutions whose only claim to fame is that they want to lift Africa from the morass that she now finds herself in. The reality is the poverty of Africa is the glory of some civilizations. Poverty is an industry. Ignorance is an industry, a big industry. And there are those who want Africa to continue to wallow in poverty and to wallow in ignorance because it is their safest bet to their continued benefit.
The thing is,
We understand, man.
A big one. Oh, yeah, there's a big one. So that is a gun. Listen to me. Hear me now. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Now, listen. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. One more time. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. Yeah. I build me a coffin. I make it my home. Because that is my only choice, this kind of life. I leave it alone. Because when I look around and I see man raping their own daughters mercilessly, man living with man, woman with woman. So how must I live? I can't understand. Look, I'm frightened to live. Why you? I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. A bandit in my face with a gun. Take my guns and began to run. I'm in the station reporting what the bandit do. I was the same bandit I was reporting to. Look, I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. I'm frightened to live. Sing. I'm frightened to live. Come again, let me hear. I'm frightened to live. Where you? I'm frightened to live. One more time, come again. I'm frightened to live. Hey. I'm frightened to live. Hear me now. It is so obnoxious when I look around. Things I just hear and see. My God, how could I go on? Children killing children every day. Parents guiding their children to go astray. Tell me how those youths getting all those guns, and where in the world those guns coming from? Me see a
Yes, frightened to live.
You're gonna get there, I say. And I'm gonna get there too. When you know where you're going, you don't have to hurry. When you know what you're doing, you don't have to worry. There is numbers of stories with beginnings and no end. Tell me, brother, are you like that, my friend? You're gonna get there, I say. And I'm gonna get there too. When you fish in the shallow, there's not much for you to swallow. When you do too much borrow, there's always a bill tomorrow. Cast your bread upon the waters and receive them sevenfold. You're gonna get there, I say. You're gonna get there, I pray, every day.
Come away, come away, come away for Rastafari. Come away, come away, come away for Nairobi. That angels are waiting. That angels are waiting to carry our tidings home. So come away, come away, come away for Rastafari. Come away.
Yeah, you know, selector. And more music and less talk.
Look what happened to the young generation. So much pain and agony. Judge, I know it's confusion. Sing it's time for repatriation. I said it's time to build a nation.
Yeah, you know, selector.
If you're
And
not
more
feeling
music
the
and less
buzz,
talk.
you're not dealing with nothing.
Whoa.
You got to feel the
Yeah.
buzz of the people before you're dealing with something. Sing it's time for repatriation. I said it's time to build a nation. Well, if you're not feeling the voice of your people, you're not dealing with nothing. You got to feel the voice of your people before you're dealing with something. Sing it's time for repatriation. Said it's time to build a nation. Look what happened to the young generation.
See,
So much pain and agony. Judge, I know it's confusion.
Whoa. Yeah. I'm me and say now. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, if you don't have love in you, you got nothing at all. Cause remember, love conquer it all, love conquer everything. The Ogle said that. Whoa. Yeah.
Rasta presents the true concept of wisdom. I'll give my explanation.
firmly upright.
If you live evilous,
You got to be
better
conscious.
be conscious. Listen, one and all. Live up to Rastafari's call. Rasta want you to know the best of love we've got to show. In Mount Zion, love is deep and wide.
I will not beg nobody, you know.
Just
You understand? We have copyright for this. Listen and learn.
Live up to Rastafari's call. Yeah. Ooh, na, na,
Man call human dells.
Rasta want no more brutality. Yeah. Now it is time.
He's a lucky thing I never get, swear lady. He's a lucky thing I never get, swear lady. And started to run, I will never run away. And start.
Two more, and we're gone. Special request all my brethren them. They are Birmingham. Watch what is happening, brothers. Don't make the people them rough you up. Stay clear. Stay far. We call it JLOs. We not play with puppy dog. I had 2 dogs in my life. And they protected my mother's home. And one of them protected my grandparents' home. Yeah. 2 dogs with 4 legs.
Oh, what a hell when you end up in a jailhouse. La da 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 da.
Whoa. Yeah. I'm here say now. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, if you don't have love in you, you got nothing at all. Cause remember, love conquer it all, love conquer everything. The Ogle said that. Whoa. Yeah.
Birmingham. Settle lease. Malcolm X Center. Easy Muffin. Yes, we're moving to the last one because we have to go break with fast and everything. You understand? Yeah. Listen.
It is gonna turn one day. Wickedness will burn one day soon. One day, Jah will wipe all our sorrows away, and that is when the wicked men will have to pay. One day soon. One day, you will find that I'm not play, we are play. Any work you do, you must get your pay. One day soon. When rightfulness start praying, wickedness will have to run away. When positive start to pray, wickedness will have to and that is when the wicked men will have to pay. One day soon, one day, you will find that I no play we are play, and any work you do, you must get your pay. One day soon, because the fruits of the wicked can't prosper.
Guidance.
Jah open the bottomless pit, and a great smoke arose out of it. The smoke of the furnace turned the sun into darkness. Yeah. Your fire will be burning, wicked blood it will be burning. Then there's no time to repent, 'cause it will be death and judgment. Yeah. Jah open the bottomless pit, and the great smoke arose out of it. Jah open the bottomless pit. Yeah. The great smoke arose out of it.
Whoa. Yeah. I'm here saying now, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, if you don't have love in you, you got nothing at all. Cause remember, love conquer it all, love conquer everything. The Ogle said that. Whoa. Yeah.
Guidance. The great keyboard player called Mr. Jackie Mito, Easy Brenda. Jackie, sweet. Fire be burning. Mr. Hugh Mandel, when the truth and right in time we really tell, and I'm here to testify. Yeah, man. Jammy's production. Fire will be burning. Laxi Castell and Mondel. And the originator of the rhythm, Jackie Mito. Are we in there? Yeah, Jackie Crucial Mito, you know? Yeah, man. Yeah. Gone now.
Calling the meek and the humble. Welcome to Blackboard Jungle.
Seeing disturbance. Sorry, don't disturb. You understand me? Tomorrow disturb and see what happen.
Calling the meek and the humble. Welcome to Blackboard Jungle. So don't you fumble. Just be humble.
Listen. Sensi, yes I. You can control it, yes I. Light it man. The good sensi. No, they must smoke skunk. What's that? Do it. Vital. What? Vital. Now you bring it. Rub it, scrub it like an Alabama rabbit. Yeah, good sense. Rub it, scrub it. Hollywood, marijuana, tinka ganja, no skunk, no skunk. Do it wrong, do it wrong. Ah, gotcha. Take a draw, take a draw, take a draw, long, long draw. Kick it up, stick it, do it up, move it up, one time, do it. You want some water? Vibration, set the nation on fire. No punk rock. No skunk. Do it wrong. Yo, what you wearing? What's up? Down below. Take a ride, take a step, take a jump. Water, one time. No camouflage. Now you bring it. Scrub it up. Yeah. Bucky scan. Do it wrong. Yeah. Oh, you mean? Gone. Guidance. People get ready.
Let the naked be clothed. Let the blind be led. Let the hungry be fed.
Go ahead, wait. Hey you over there. Hey you, sir.
Guidance.
Let the naked be clothed. Let the blind be led. Let the hungry be fed. And the aged be protected. Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us. 'Cause with all the things that men have learned to make things that goes around the world, still can't help us, still can't help us, still can't help us. Look at now. Children go to school. Smarter than your father, don't be a fool. Let the people be led. Take care of them instead. Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us. 'Cause with all the things that men have earned to make things that frightens the world, still can't help us, still can't help us, still can't help us. Look at now. Children go to school, yeah. Be smarter than your father, don't be a fool. Let the blind be led. I taking care of them instead. Lord, deliver us. Lord, deliver us.
Oh, I saw you on labor. Go ahead, wait. Hey you up.
And in those moments, watch God send you a little angel. He's gonna cause you to be at the right place at the right time. Worry about what you can do, nothing else. Just do your part. And watch God meet you halfway. Do you believe that? Now I'm trying to give you some news that you can use. Is you listening? Do you hear me? Are you just sitting over there worried about it?
Sheriff Babylon man, he's up on the borderline. Sheriff Babylon man, every time I enter the border, here comes the Babylon man. Here comes the policeman, asking for my identification. He asking for my passport. He asking for my DNA. Sheriff Babylon man, why can't we be free to go wherever we want to go? In a Babylon, in a Jaja land. Sheriff Babylon man, what are you searching for? I don't have no marijuana, I don't have no ganja. I want to be free to travel across the border. Free up natty dreadlocks, free up the dreadlocks man. Why can't we be free to go wherever we want to go across the border? Babylon a whole borderline. I want to know the reason why. Man not free to go wherever he wants to go. Man not free to smoke whatever he wants to smoke. Babylon, what you want to control Jaja land for? Yes, I'm a singer man, I am a musician man. Why can't we be free to go wherever we want to go in a Babylon? I don't know the reason why Babylon a hold the borderline. Boy, yo, Sheriff, let go the dreadlocks man. Make we move across the borderline. Sheriff Babylon man, Mr. Babylon man. Boy, boy, boy. Every time I enter the borderline, here comes the Babylon, here comes the sheriff man. Where is my identification? Where is my passport? And where is my DNA card? Boy, 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 man, I feel free to travel over borderline. Boy, yo, man, I feel free to travel wherever you want to go.
Guidance. Tomorrow, God willing, Tipperton Dance Hall.